Welcome to the light painting chapter of this car tutorial. Now, light painting is the most fundamentally important aspect in car photography, in my opinion. The vehicle is always changing depending on car to car, color to color, different shapes, different years, and even changing the camera angle possesses a completely different problem when it comes to light painting the vehicle. So as a result, we need to have a more customized solution when it comes to lighting a car. And light painting is one of those techniques to have a customized solution when lighting the vehicle. Today we're going to be running through flash photography for light painting the vehicle. We're going to be using constant lights for light painting. So we're going to be using the ice light, and we're going to be also using the modeling light of my BrownColor Siros strobe. And I'm going to show you how the three different lights are used to achieve a customized solution in lighting the car in all its different facets. We've got the Shelby GT350 today, which I'm going to demonstrate the flash component of this tutorial. We've got a Ford GT supercar, in which case I'm going to show you how we light paint. And we've also got ourselves an awesome Ducati motorbike, and I'll show you how the techniques that I've shown you in lighting cars can be transcended into also lighting other products such as a motorbike. Now to start with in this tutorial, we're going to be shooting this 2016 Shelby GT350, and I'm really excited to be tackling a muscle car tonight. Now this car, after walking around it, you can see very clearly that it's all about that aggressive set of lines. It's all about the big bulging bonnet. It's all about that aggressive fastback coupe profile. So when I'm tackling this with my lighting, I want to be accentuating the lines, the aggressive lines, as much as I possibly can. So I'm going to be angling the lighting at a very tall angle, looking down, because that's very natural. That's the way the human eye tends to look at objects in a natural state. The lighting tends to be coming from above, and I'm going to be using that as a way to have very well defined shadows underneath the car and to define the lighting and the lines around the vehicle. Now, even though I'm going to be customizing the lighting from the rear to the front, I do want to have a relatively consistent look so that it doesn't look too photoshopped. It does need to look like it comes from a consistent light source. And I'm also going to be utilizing the location, the background itself. I don't want to actually make it look like a copy and pasted job. So the background isn't going to be exposed too darkly. So when it comes to my composition, I have framed it in such a way that you can clearly see all the elements in the location that I do like, whilst framing out and cropping out the elements that I feel distracts from the image. So step one, I've had my assistant, Tomas, construct this lighting rig for me, which comprises of a simple light stand with the strobe and using a strip softbox mounted as the modifier. Now, the strip softbox is there for us to help control the highlights. The vehicle is glossy, so we do need to be wary and control the reflections on the vehicle. Now, he's going to basically light each section of the car for me, and I'm going to be watching him and directing him as he moves from one end of the car to the other. And I'm going to be watching as he lights each section of the vehicle, that he's not blocking the section that I'm trying to capture. And once I'm satisfied that we have everything, I'm going to lock it off, and then we're going to watch how we combine it all together in post-production. All right, so Tomas, let's just have this dead straight and have these legs open so that you can safely angle it forward. So let's just bring it up to start with. We're going to start with the rear, and then we're going to work our way to the front. A little bit higher than that. Okay, awesome. Yeah, just lock that off. Okay, so I'm at f10.4 second shutter. I've changed it now to f8. just to make the flash a little bit more powerful, and I'm dropping the shutter speed to 1/6. So I'm going to double check my focus, and I'm going to focus on the front headlight, the front bumper closest to me, just to make sure it's dead focus. Okay, so f8, 1/6. Okay, so Tomas, just take a side step to the right. Yep, and side step to the right again. Yep, side step to the right again. Side step to the right again. Now this really high angle looking down highlights that side profile, the lines. Side step to the right again. Side step to the right again. Side step again. Hang on, just go back for a sec. Flash didn't reset. Okay, side step to the right. Side step to the right. Just go closer to the car. Go closer to the car, yep. Otherwise it's too on-camera flash looking, it still needs to highlight the lines. Now what I'm going to get you to do is, could you just step a little bit to the left. Now just push and angle it over the headlight. That's it. Now I'm just doing that so that Tomas is not in the way of the section. He's not blocking the view that I'm looking at. Okay, can you push it, angle it over a little bit more? That's it. Okay, now can you do that exact same thing but around on the other side? So you're lighting the front side of the headlight. Perfect. Now angle it right over. The more higher, the more aggressive the angle is. But at the compromise of losing detail. Okay, side step right. Yeah, just watch your head. Angle it forward again. Okay, side step right. Yeah, angle it forward again. And relax. Now that's a very safe set of exposures. We have all the elements covered, but I want to have a more aggressive version of that. So Tomas, we're going to do another run. You can start from this side and move your way back, but I want you to be even closer to the car and having it even more top down. And I'm going to change the settings. I'm going to make it at full power, or near full power. I'm at 9.8, and I'm going to try to darken the background and have the car pop out even more. So I'm using the BrownColor Siros L, which is a battery-powered strobe. And BrownColor have this BrownColor app where I can use my phone, which is tethered to the strobe remotely, wirelessly, so I can wirelessly change the power up and down. I've basically just changed it up to 9.8, which is near max power. Do you want to just angle it forward for us? Okay, F8, 1/10 of a second. Okay, side step left. Yep. Yep, side step left. Just hold that for a second. Okay, so Tomas, can you switch sides? That's it, just about there. Just angle it forward. And side step left. Side step left. Side step left. Side step left. And keep going, one more. Okay, just relax for a second. Okay, I like that much, much more. It is far more aggressive. It's making the yellow pop out, but it still feels embedded in the photograph. So I've dropped the exposure down to 1/10 of a second so that I can drop the ambient exposure down. I want the car to pop out more. And secondly, I've only covered the section of the car that I can see because the top part of the car, the top profile of the car, is actually being lit by the ambient lighting around us. So in order to keep the car looking embedded in the environment more naturally, I'm actually utilizing the existing natural light that's hitting the car naturally on top. So I'm only using the flash to light the section that I can see, but over the bonnet and over the roof, I'm keeping the natural light. That way, it avoids that copy and pasted look. So one other thing that you'll notice that you need to keep in mind when it comes to directing your assistant is that when it comes to lighting cars, you've got this issue called angle of incidence. So when you're lighting this section of the car, your lighting assistant usually thinks that the light needs to come down like this, but actually the camera is over there. So when it's lighting this section, it actually needs to be lit a little bit further away. So when it comes to lighting cars, what I like to do is I instruct my assistant to imagine that I'm throwing a tennis ball at that section of the car that I'm lighting. Where does it bounce back off? So exactly where a tennis ball would bounce back off is where I kind of want him to position the light and attack it from. So that's the reason why typically when it comes to shooting and lighting cars, I get the assistant to envision that the car is wider than it actually is over here and longer than it actually is on the back. And that's the reason why whether we're using flash or whether we're using light painting with a constant light technique, he typically starts a little bit further out this way and then typically finishes further at the rear. So even though he's beyond the rear slightly, I still need him to continue on. And that can be accentuated even more so depending on the shape of the car. If you're shooting, say, an E-Type Jaguar and the rear of the car sort of angles itself inwards like a spoon, then you need to go even further around. You even need to potentially go around the back of the car. So it's almost like a semicircle, a near donut effect in lighting the vehicle. So you do need to keep that in mind. So it's not just a matter of what the assistant can actually see in light, it's a matter of what you can see through the camera. So always imagine if I threw a tennis ball and I hit this spot of the car, where would it bounce off? And that's as far as where the lighting assistant needs to tackle. Now, because we're shooting at the angle of incidence, glare can be a potential issue, but I'm not terribly concerned about it because essentially we're only capturing this one element in a photograph. We're not too concerned if the rest of the image actually has some glare. So in post-production, we can selectively take the parts that we need, and therefore glare really isn't that much of an issue. Okay, so we're going to do a run where we basically do the fill light, so we can fill in all the details that is just a bit too dark. So this is like tackling the rear and the front black wheels and tackling the front grille. Okay, could you raise it up a little bit more? Yep, and just point it a little bit more towards the car. So slightly less aggressive angle. Just bring it back down a little bit again. I'm just going to bring the power down to, just to start with, maybe a 7, because it is a more direct attack angle. It can be a little too bright. Yeah. Is it at 7 yet? Okay, can you move the light further away from me? Yep. Okay, go a little closer to the car. Okay, closer still. And lower the light down again. Down more, down more. Okay, just try to hit that rear wheel more from a direct angle. So just slide it more towards me. No, slide the stand more towards me, but still pointing that light at that rear wheel. Okay, I'm just going to turn the power back up again. This is highlighting red, which I think it means it's not sinking through there. What power output does it say on the light? 7? Can you twist it so that it's vertical? Still just mucking around with it so that we can see how we can tackle this rear wheel. Bring it down lower. You can even hand hold it if you like. Okay. Take the light off the light stand and hand hold it for us. That's it. And just go in nice and close to the wheel. Nice and close to the wheel. That's it. Okay, nice. So just come towards me a little bit more. Okay, just go a little bit further away again. And this time just give it a little bit of a 90 degree, an oblique angle, that's it. No, back to being oblique. So diagonal. Thank you. Okay, just move a little bit further away from me and a little bit closer. Okay, so that's a pretty safe exposure which lights the wheel, but I want to give it a little bit more of an aggressive look, so I'm going to try some other safe options. So could you have it so that it's horizontal? So similar to how you light the car, but this time just down on the wheel. Yeah, like that. I just feel that's a bit more natural because it's more consistent with the way we lit the whole car. Now just sidestep left. Just push the left corner in a little bit more. That's it. And just lower the light a little bit again. Okay, cool. So that is, just to hold that again, that's the angle that looks best on the wheel. So I've mucked around, I've gone up and down, I've gone left and right, but based on this angle and based on the shape of the spokes, that's the angle that I like the most. So can you please try and replicate that on the front wheel? As close as we can. Nice. Okay, a little bit higher. Okay, just have it so, just come down a little bit more. Okay, go back up again and come towards me. That's it, just a little bit more. Just go a little higher and a little closer. Point it down more. No. Keep it up, but pointing down more, that's it. And just slide left a little. And just push the left-hand corner into the car a little bit more. Okay, a little bit lower again. Have the left corner a little bit lower and the right corner a little bit higher. Yeah. Cool. So even though the front wheel is at approximately the same angle as the rear wheel, there is still a slight variation to it. And so I needed to adapt and adjust to that. So when I asked Tomas to move the left corner in closer or out, that's me controlling not only the angle of incidence, but also controlling the intensity of the light. So the section of the softbox that's closer to the wheel is going to be brighter, and the section that's further away is going to be darker. So it's basically playing with light and shadow and the angles, because even though it is a little bit of a satiny kind of a finished wheel, it does have this reflectivity to it. So I did need to adjust and fine tune it until it was exactly at the angle that I wanted it to be. So I was also adjusting the height, whether it's going up pointing down or whether it's going down pointing forwards. Now, the more you go down pointing forwards, the more detail you capture. But unfortunately, it's less textured and it doesn't really look as aggressive. So it's all about getting that right balance between going up high and pointing down, where you have that aggressive lighting, and going down and looking straight in with that on-camera flash style lighting that is very detailed and shows a lot of information, but it's less aggressive and less interesting. So I'm basically just following around and moving it up and down just to sort of find that right balance between detail and creativity. So Tomas, I'm now going to get my assistant Tomas to now light the front grille, and we're going to attack it in a very similar way to how we did the wheels. But because the light was very high looking down, we had that aggressive lighting on the muscly lines of the car, but at the compromise of detail of this front grille. So I'm going to light it separately. So hold it like this. Yeah, that's it, like that. So still a little bit aggressive, so it's a bit top down, like that. And we want to look at the angle of incidence, so as that light comes this way, and it bounces up like that. So you still need to come in fairly close. Yeah, a little bit high, but not so high that this lip covers, covers that. We do want to see the snake badge. So you don't want to go too high. So come a little bit higher. That's it, like that. And I'll direct you from the camera. Now what I'm looking at in the camera is only for the grille section. Okay, Tomas, can you go in a little bit closer? Okay, Tomas, can you just slide to the right a little bit? That's it. Beautiful. That grille looks, the grille looks beautiful. Just go a little bit higher. See if we can just wind the aggression up a little bit. Okay, just a little bit lower again. Okay. Just sidestep to the left a little bit more. No, to the left. That's it. Just a tad higher. Try not to move, try to freeze there. A little bit higher again. So I'm going to get the owner now to turn the headlights on so that we can grab a safe, clean exposure of the headlights for me to comp in later. Could we just turn the headlights on? Just the headlights. Yeah. Perfect. Now, when it comes to shooting the headlights, because it's such a bright light source in comparison to the ambient environment, it's often a good idea to bracket your exposures of headlights, especially if there's a drastic contrast between the intensity of the lights on the headlights and the surrounding ambient lighting. So I'm going to bracket a slightly brighter and a slightly darker exposure just to make sure that I do capture all the details that I want in the headlight. So I'm going to do one that's from 1/10 to 0.4 of a second, which is much brighter, and I'm going to do another one that's 1/40th of a second, which is much darker. Okay, so once I'm happy with the exposures of the headlights, that basically wraps up how I do this light painting shot using the flash. Now, as you can see, despite the results, it is remarkably simple to do. I only have one assistant and one light source, and in a divide and conquer approach, we light each section and we just simply merge them together. And with that wrapped up, I'm now going to introduce a smoke machine to add a little bit of atmosphere as a variation in the photograph. Tomas, can you please put the light at the same angle as it was before up there?
Yep.
Actually, to start with, let's start with the headlight. So you just stay put, and I'm just going to capture the headlights with the smoke. So do you want to just also, let's just smoke up this section around here. Yeah, no, that's fine. Let's just see what the wind does to this. Okay. So I'm just going to grab the headlights with smoke. Back to 1/10. 1/10 was my standard exposure. Use a longer exposure. Can I have another whiff of smoke? That'll do. I'm just dissipate it a little. Actually, I think we need a little bit more here. Sorry. I think we need a little more even coverage. I think it'll be all right. Now I'm just bracketing a number of exposures to make sure that I've got plenty of elements for later in post-production. So a variety of brighter exposure and darker exposure. Okay, so I'm going to resort back to 1/10 of a second at f8, which was my standard setting at the beginning. 10 f8. Okay, can we turn the headlights off? Will the daytime running lights come off in a sec? They'll go off on its own. We need a lot of smoke. So Tomas, can we just smoke the whole area around us? Actually, I can smoke and then you can get that ready. And I'll just run back to the camera.
It's pretty ready.
That's ready? Okay, all right. Well, let's just have a very overall smoke around.
Right in the back as well?
Just everywhere, all around this whole environment. No such thing as too much smoke for this.
What?
No such thing as too much. We're indoors, so it shouldn't really disappear as much. Let's see. It seems to blow this way a little, so maybe we need to, just looking at where the wind is going, it seems to be blowing it that way a little bit more. So just give it another big strike all the way around here. Oh, okay. Just move to the side for a sec so I can have a look at what we're looking at. When's it ready? When the green light goes on? Okay. I'll reduce it with a bit of smoke when I see the light. Okay, so starting from the rear. Okay. I'm just going to bring the power up a little bit, back up to, what was it, 9.8?
Might as well.
Yeah, if you can, just smoke it around more because it's starting to disappear again. Yeah. Keep it low on the ground. Keep it low on the ground. Once it hit the ground, it gets cooler. Yeah, start more to the right, more on the right-hand side, because it seems to blow the smoke over that way. Okay, no, that's right. Let's get going. Let's do this. That's all right, it's not in the shot. Okay, it's a little bit too thick around here, so I'm just gonna keep that ready. And as soon as this lightens up, I'm gonna fire. That's a good idea. Okay, now that's good. Just the right amount. Okay, angled forward and side step right. 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 Angle it forward more. Much more, that's it. Okay, other side, swap. Okay, side step right. Side step right. And one more, side step right again. And angle it, really go a little closer to the car. That's it. And just hit the nose one more time. Just come in closer to the nose. No, this way to the nose, that's it. Just step closer to the nose. That's it. Come a little bit more, pull it back a little. That's it. Cool. Okay, so what happened was the left-hand side of the frame had a lot of good atmosphere and smoke, but the right side, it started to disappear by the time we got there. So this time we're gonna start again, we're gonna re-smoke the environment, but we're gonna start on the right-hand side and end on the left-hand side. That way we've got that balance. Thank you. And yeah, we're ready to go. So straight into it. Yeah. Side step left. Side step left. Side step left. Nice and close. Okay, relax. Switch sides to the other one. Yeah, nice and close. Okay, to the left. To the left. Okay, you can pull it back a little bit as you go towards the back. Yep, side step left. Side step left. Side step left. Oh, there we go. Yeah, one more. Yeah. Cool, fantastic. All right, so just move out and I'm just going to get one clean plate shot without anything. Just as a base exposure for me to start with. Yeah, turn the flash off. Let's do a base exposure with the smoke. So just give it a all-around smokiness again, and I'll just get a clean base exposure for it.
Speed there.
Yeah, let's wave it around. I don't know why the smoke doesn't linger around in this room as much. Usually it just becomes really foggy in here, but it seems to be getting sucked out somewhere.
Well, it's going to go out the clear windows.
Oh, right. Just move out the shot for a sec, Tomas. Just to the right. I'm just going to bracket the exposure so we get a little bit more of that texture of the smoke.